Susie Wiles there.
Whew.
In the long white dress coat. She was instrumental in the Trump 2024 campaign, serving as co-campaign chairwoman with Chris LaCivita.
Campaign chairwoman.
And you see so many others. South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem, former Georgia Senator Kelly Loeffler, former New York Congressman Lee Zeldin, John Ratcliffe there, Trump's pick to lead the CIA, Kash Patel, Trump's pick to lead the FBI, and so many. I believe that's Vivek Ramaswamy, Kevin Hassett as well, and Tulsi Gabbard. So all of the incoming Trump cabinet members are seated behind the principals there on the dais, which I think is an interesting choice. Yes, they will serve out, if confirmed, the Trump cabinet there, Susie Wiles speaking with Tulsi Gabbard. So it's just really interesting. I mean, Stephanie, if you think about it, we're going to be talking about these names a lot, you and I, on Live Now from Fox for the next 4 years. I also recognize there to the right, Tucker Carlson in the rotunda. There's Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and so many others. Some of whom, Stephanie, you remember, were one-time rivals of Trump on the primary stage, like North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum. But I think I've exhausted my recognition here with familiar faces, but that is a storyline we are going to have to watch in the next couple of days, these confirmation hearings and whether or not there will be any more hiccups or snags in that process. They've been quite fiery as of late, including with Pam Bondi and Pete Hegseth last week.
And truly, you know, Andrew, the power that is inside this room, no matter what side of the aisle you're on, we have seen some Democrats there as well, but this is just one of those moments where everyone comes together as part of this American tradition, and that, of course, is the inauguration, the swearing-in ceremony of Donald J. Trump as the 47th President of the United States. Truly remarkable as we get that inside front row seat, and we're able to share that with our viewers in real time. So many people not able to make the journey to Washington, D.C., but now being part of history in the making.
Yes, just for the viewers, that couple there, that was former Vice President Dan Quayle and his wife, the former Second Lady Marilyn Quayle there. So the Quayles are in the House as well. This is fascinating. I didn't know we did have the shot on the very tail end on the right-hand side of the dais. Some of these world leaders, Stephanie, that are here and on hand. The leader of Argentina, Javier Milei. We also know Giorgia Meloni, the Italian Prime Minister. She is in the House as well. We know the Vice Premier of the People's Republic of China is here as well. That was the delegation Xi Jinping sent. And of course, former Vice President Mike Pence. Stephanie, I don't think it's lost on the viewers his role in the last 8 years and what he has meant for recent history. Of course, he was the only and the highest ranking member of the Trump administration last time to attend the inauguration because Donald Trump was not there himself. And then, of course, these tech titans, Mark Zuckerberg there, you just saw, the CEO of Meta.
And as we take a look, Andrew, as we take a look at
concentrated in this room right now, somewhat beyond comprehension.
Yes, and you know, you were mentioning just, you know, the political figureheads, you know, just the who's who, but as you also mentioned, we have Elon Musk, we have the who's who in the tech industry. The conversations that are happening right now, Andrew, I have to imagine aren't just about politics. We see Jeff Bezos right there, but also I have to imagine perhaps some business as well. I mean, these are the heads of multi-billion-dollar industries chatting. You see Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos having a conversation right there. RFK Jr. nodding and smiling in the background. Pete Hegseth. I mean, you know, just from just a human perspective, not even a political perspective, Andrew, just from a human perspective, It's just absolutely fascinating to watch, and we get this front row inside look into what is happening.
Yes, Stephanie, I wouldn't underestimate the ability of even billionaires to engage in small talk. The world's wealthiest man right there, you see Elon Musk. Of course, we know Jeff Bezos' company, Blue Origin, just had a first in its own right with their most recent test launch there in Texas. We know how important that is to Elon Musk and SpaceX. And remember, Musk is going to be part of this administration, not Senate confirmed, but as head of the Department of Government Efficiency. Also, it's notable because a lot of those tech titans, Stephanie, well, they were donors to the inaugural committee. $1 million donations came in from Amazon, from Apple, from Boeing, from Google, from Lockheed Martin, from Microsoft, also from Sam Altman of OpenAI. You see there Mark Zuckerberg and his wife. So it's not only how these individuals are going to work with the incoming Trump administration, they have also given money to the Trump inaugural as well. Receipts, so to speak, Stephanie.
So true. And when you talk about donations
Bezos,
and
his wife.
Trying to
like,
get into
like,
the
look.
ear of the most important people who make these decisions. But
They're like, look.
as we take
She's
a
like,
look,
hey, look.
and we are awaiting, of course, the people of the hour, as we are, anticipating the introduction initially of Melania Trump and Usha Vance. They will be the first people to be introduced, and then Vice President-elect J.D. Vance, and then finally, of course, the man of the hour himself, Donald J. Trump, as the 47th President of the United States. As we were mentioning, Andrew, this is not going to be what we are used to seeing when it comes to inaugurations. It's a little different as we are indoors right now. Instead of being out on the mall with hundreds of thousands of people, this now is just the select, hundreds of people that are allowed. Inside, we see former President Bill Clinton and Hillary Rodham Clinton walking not hand in hand, but side by side right there as they make their way to
Not hand in hand.
the seats. And also,
Yikes.
Andrew, we haven't seen former President Barack
Look how he's
Obama. We may
walking.
have missed him, at least perhaps me, but I have not seen him yet. And we are expecting that he will be in attendance, and so we're just going to have to wait and see. Of course, George W. Bush with Laura Bush as well. We're also expecting to see arrive as we continue to just watch history unfold before our very eyes.
Hey, Stephanie, you had mentioned there, we see the Bushes now. You had mentioned all these people in the rotunda. I would imagine, you would imagine, it's going to be quite toasty, quite warm. You might be right, but historically, the Capitol Rotunda is freezing. So I just thought I'd offer that context there. But now we see President George W. Bush, former First Lady Laura Bush. We also see members of the Trump family, the Trump grandchildren, now entering into the rotunda there.
And then there we have former President Barack Obama walking alone, as we do know that former First Lady Michelle Obama declining to attend this swearing-in ceremony, not indicating why. There's been a lot of speculation about that, but she also was not in attendance for former President Jimmy Carter's funeral service. And also to note, Andrew, former Vice President Pence was walking solo, and we saw during the funeral service of Jimmy Carter, his wife not shaking the hand of Trump or Melania Trump, indicating, of course, that fractured relationship that took place after, that fateful day on January 6th.
Yeah, that was quite a frosty, chilled reception there at the National Cathedral now some weeks ago between Karen Pence and the Trumps. A non-existent greeting, so to speak, though there was reported what Pence and Trump briefly discussed. Pence offering his congratulations to Trump on his election victory. So I thought that was interesting. Still pleasantries maintained and delivered between the two there, though. at
My
the Carter
pinky.
funeral. That was, I believe, the first time they had been in the same room since January of 2021 here. But, of course, Pence stuck to his constitutional duties that day, January 6, 2021, and he's doing so as well. Keeping with tradition, of course, it's not in the Constitution that former president and vice president attend the inauguration, but Pence doing the same. There aren't that many parts of today, Stephanie, that are enshrined and codified in the Constitution. Of course, the presidential oath itself, that's right there. Now, the oath that vice presidents take, not necessarily there either. They can do as they see fit. It's not too far off from the presidential oath, but the presidential oath is in the Constitution. The date, January 20th, that's in the Constitution, albeit by amendment as well. So I thought it just kind of underscores the fact that most of today is tradition, is pomp, is circumstance, is pageantry. So I thought that was interesting for our American history buffs out there.
And, you know, even though these traditions are not as long-standing as some other countries, these are, you know, really held, you know, close to the hearts of those here in the United States, you know, really signaling that new frontier and now making this our own as we continue to look, as you were mentioning, Andrew, the who's who of the business world and also the soon-to-be, you know, possible cabinet picks right there, as we see some are posing for pictures. But what a moment in history as we continue to await the inauguration ceremony to get underway, and just taking a look right now, Andrew, of what is to come. Of course, the schedule did have to be adapted because this is no longer going to be held outside, but just to let our viewers know, you know, what they can expect. We are expecting the Vances and the Trumps to be introduced. We're also expecting House Speaker Mike Johnson and Senate Majority Leader Thune and Senator Klobuchar. They will be introduced as well. And then finally, President-elect Donald Trump will be introduced. That really begins, you know, the official, the call to order, which Senator Klobuchar will issue. And then the swearing-in ceremony begins, also, and different perhaps from President-elect Trump's first swearing-in ceremony. You know, who is going to be performing? Carrie Underwood is set to perform America the Beautiful. And then after that, that is when J.D. Vance will be sworn in as vice president, and finally Trump sworn in as the 47th president of the United States. But just wanted, and we can see the justices right there. I did want to raise the audio so we can continue to listen in.
I'm gonna play Tetris in the meantime. What does this do? I don't know. Let me do this real quick. Let's do this. Wake up. Sure. Roll this.
If you're just joining us here online now from Fox, Andrew Kraft here with my colleague Stephanie Quinu. I want to thank everyone for being with us. We're just a little past the 10 a.m. Eastern hour. Stephanie, to your point, we just saw the justices of the Supreme Court. I believe all 9 of them in attendance, but also I've spotted there former Justice Stephen Breyer, who retired during the Biden presidency. and that is how we got Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, the first African-American female on the court there. So Breyer in attendance, which I thought was interesting. Also wanted to highlight just some of the excerpts that we have gotten from Trump's second inaugural speech that will be delivered in about an hour's time. He says this: "My message to Americans today is that it is time for us to once again act with courage, vigor, and the vitality of history's greatest civilization." To my point, Stephanie, going into this weekend and now today, the social scene of Washington is full on MAGA. And I don't say that as an opinion or as a subjective statement. It really is. It's such a departure, it's such a shift from how the Trump folks were welcomed into Washington in 2017 after his electoral upset, his defeat of Hillary Clinton. And now we see members of the Trump family, his children there. Interesting.
Who is that? Think about this guy. God damn. That is... Oh, I just saw my error.